Hey, I'm Hunt, and this is Hunt on LSU, your channel for LSU Fighting Tiger football talk. Enjoy the video. We want you to leave a comment below, hit that like button, and subscribe right below the video. Enjoy.
Winning is really, really hard, especially in the SEC. So I mean, you're just grateful for every win that you have, and it's easier to move on and focus on another opponent after a win. So I mean, I wouldn't say that it's really difficult to move on because short-term memory, wins and losses. I mean, you still got another game next week. So I mean, I think we do a really good job as a team of like forgetting. We will celebrate our wins and then forget and then on to the next.
I like the message from Logan Diggs there. Tiger tailback says, look, you win or loss, you got a short memory, you get ready and go do it again. But there's no doubt that this place feels a little more jovial than it did 2 weeks ago. After that Florida State loss, it's just there's a lot of doom and gloom in the fan base. Now, the football office is a little insulated from the fan base, and we're certainly not. We're totally exposed out here. You're listening. We appreciate it. We're talking to you. We're out in the community. We got Twitter, and it's not fun when you lose. But LSU has been granted, in my opinion, a nice little runway post-Florida State to get things corrected over the course of a month. You can take what you did in that Florida State game and apply whatever you want against Grambling. Anything you want to do, personnel, scheme, rest, whatever, over that week. And then you get ready to play Mississippi State, who's probably the worst team on your side of the conference. And you played a very good game in that game. And you start to feel a little bit better. And now you've got a chance to play what I believe is the second worst team on your side of the division. Doesn't mean LSU's going to go out there and roll the ball out and throw a helmet on and win. They can beat you. They got a good quarterback. But you've got an opportunity to play your B game and get out with a win. And then you go play a monster game next week in Oxford. But it's a comfy spot to push off from Florida State. You didn't have to go, Florida State at Ole Miss, Bama. That's not the way it worked out. The schedule is in your favor in that way. And sometimes in SEC play, it's not that kind. But here I think it is. And Brian Kelly talked yesterday about the improvement of the defense, which was gashed by Florida State over the last 3 weeks.
As these guys continue to evolve in their roles and get more comfortable with the structure, the defense is a little bit different than what we ran last year relative to, what we're doing. And the roles are starting to become much more consistent. So, I think we've identified the things that we need to improve on. And when you have that kind of focus going into practice each week, it really allows you to sharpen the edge, if you will, relative to what you need to do defensively.
I think LSU has good coaches. I really do. I can't claim to be an expert on that matter. We talk about X's and O's all the time. But I believe Matt House is a good coach. I think he did a really good job last year with a patchwork defense of improving throughout games and then game to game as you moved into the season. I thought LSU did a really good job of that. And I think Mike Denbrock has created a very, very potent offense here, far more often than it's been stagnant over a year and a half. And I trust that this team is going to improve and continue to get better. And we're talking about the defense in this instance, and that's the unit that's got to get a lot better because the offense should be really good. And last week, it certainly was really good. The defense is what's going to elevate this team to a championship level or not. And you've got some issues in the secondary that you're working to get through. You put Denver Harris out there. He wasn't there against Florida State. Now you've got Greg Brooks coming out. You're going to move Andre Sam in. What does that mean for the other pieces? Maybe Whit Weeks is a new piece that helps you out. Mason Smith's getting healthy. There are some things coming along defensively that I think are cause for optimism. You've got to continue to get better. The one guy that concerns me on this Arkansas offense is obviously the quarterback, KJ Jefferson. He is a load. He is a great player. I don't think Rocket Sanders is going to play in this game. So KJ Jefferson kind of becomes de facto the offense. His running back is compromised. His wide receivers are Andrew Armstrong, who played at Texas A&M Commerce last year, and Isaac Teslaw, who played at D2 Hillsdale College last year. Both guys were Division II players last year. Now, they're good athletes, but it's not Traylon Burks. KJ Jefferson makes this thing go. He's going to make things go on 3rd and 2. He's going to be the one that makes their plays down the field if they're there. If you can neutralize him, you neutralize Arkansas's offense. And Brian Kelly yesterday spoke about the challenges of dealing with KJ Jefferson.
The primary concern here is his dual threat. And so similar to Jordan Travis, who we played at Florida State, you have to have, those mechanisms within your defensive structure. So, we'll pull some of those things, and we did this week that, that you have to have on alert, for your defense.
And part of this equation is 4. It's Harold Perkins. And they're going to use him in a multitude of ways, but the 2 that will be the most pronounced, in my opinion, tomorrow will be 1, coming off the edge, and 2, in a pure spy role. And that is a neutralizer of a potent offense, because there aren't many teams that have a guy in the middle of their defense that can run like that. And Perkins can. We saw it against this same team last year with a much faster quarterback who Malik Hornsby could not get away from Harold Perkins the way he could against other teams. Now, KJ's not that kind of running threat. He's a physical running threat. But it changes what Arkansas can do if he drops back on 3rd and 6, and instead of bringing Perkins off the edge, you sit him in a spy situation, and you bring Mason Smith and Mekhi Wingo and Savion Jones and Ovi Agofu. And those guys are coming, and Perkins sits in the middle of the field and waits. And the second that Jefferson commits to right or left and trying to pick up 6 yards, there's not an angle that he can beat Harold Perkins on. He'll need a block. And that comforts me when thinking about dealing with this Arkansas offense. Kendall Briles scared me a little bit more than Dan Enos does. Kendall Briles had some tempo, there was some creativity, and he had the guy on the outside in Traylon Burks. Now, Arkansas is going to try to get the ball to A.J. Green. They're going to try to get the ball to Isaiah Satania. I mentioned Teslaw and Anderson. They do have some skill position guys. None of them are going in the first round like Traylon Burks. And again, it all kind of funnels back to what Jefferson can do. Matt House knows that. And Arkansas's offensive line has had real problems. They've had injuries. I don't know if their left tackle is going to play. And they had penalties last week that killed them. A lot of holds, some false starts, all of that. LSU needs to pressure that group with its front and take the pressure off those guys in the back. This is what I had a conversation with Preston Guy about an hour ago right now. Did LSU cover better last week? I think they did, but more so they affected Will Rogers. That's another thing that's going to have to come along for this team. They're going to have to do it. And Perkins will come off the edge some, but I like the spy situation. And you can send him at like a heat-seeking missile at times, but at other times, just don't let KJ Jefferson extend plays, because KJ Jefferson is more likely to hurt you with 6-yard gains to move the chains than he is a 60-yard gain. Like Nick Fitzgerald or John Rice Plumlee, even Cam busting that huge one, Matt Jones from Arkansas comes to mind. Like those guys could hurt you. Nick Marshall, like they're waiting to go 60 on you. KJ's not really that guy. He wants to move the chains with his legs. Perkins can help neutralize that. And another thing that we haven't talked about all year long, because we haven't had the situation, is now you, the fan, have a chance to make a difference. Couldn't make a difference in Orlando. Didn't need a difference against Grambling. They were on the road against State. This is the first Saturday night in Death Valley. And I think LSU fans are ready to roll. I think what LSU fans watched last week in Starkville and then continued on their Saturdays watching Georgia, watching Bama, understanding A&M's lost, knowing that you don't, it's just, you feel like your team's got a shot. And that belief in a fan base, I think, is kind of powerful. And I expect that place to be really, really good tomorrow night. I think it'll be a lot of fun. And I'm excited to see how this team plays. Because if you can make another statement in this game, you really set up something special in Oxford next week. Either way, things go in Tuscaloosa. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.